Okay, my day's not nearly that interesting. Number 2, riding on the back steps. Number 3, riding forward and backwards. What is this? So we have this letter that's talking about this schedule. And again, the first part of it's missing, but all the days have some variation. So the 4th day, standing still. I can do that. So, okay, what is this?
Well, if you got $1 on just a lousy down, know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine. You can take or leave me, but you ain't got much time, 'cause I just keep on rolling down the line.
Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Welcome to my channel. If you've been paying any attention to my channel, particularly over the last several months, you'll know that I have taken a right turn directly into the land of ephemera. I've always liked ephemera. I've also typically sold ephemera, but it wasn't anything that I was really targeting. And as I've kind of been struggling with what do I want to be when I grow up, I started looking at what I liked selling, what was selling, and ephemera was just something I really enjoy sourcing. And I also then have fun teaching about and also selling. And I was getting comments when I would put them in pre-recorded sales or, even in live sales, that people would say, oh, you find such great ephemera. And it's one of those cases where I feel I do find some really good stuff, but part of it's because I spend just as much time trying to find, a $5 piece of ephemera as somebody would spend trying to find a $50 piece of Fenton glass. If I find a box of ephemera, I really want to dig into it, and I really want to sift through all the, nothing special paperwork to find the really cool things. And this video is actually showcasing one of the really cool things that I found. So this was sourced actually at an antique shop in downtown DeKalb, Illinois. I head in there every few months. They change inventory quite nicely, and they have a lot of ephemera. They know that I'm sourcing it, so that, they're pulling stuff out from behind counters, because ephemera in a retail environment is actually hard to sell because it can get damaged very easily. And this item was something that they had in a case. So at first glance, it looked like a wallet. I then opened the wallet and discovered is one of my favorite things to sell. It's a little notebook. Sometimes they're lined. This one is has the graph paper inserts to it. Sometimes they're address books. A lot of times they have calendars on them, which this one does. So you can see that this is from 1897. I love to source 19th century ephemera because, for the fundamental reason, it's not around much anymore. Paper, by its definition of ephemera, was ephemeral. It wasn't designed to last forever. So when things like this stick around, I think it's fun. And again, not typically expensive items. This was not a particularly expensive item because it's just a cool little leather bonded type leather notebook or wallet with the notebook. And I'm like, oh, it's cute in a vignette. I do costuming and props for stage productions. This could be great looking in a wallet for, the right era of a production. And then I got it home, bought it. Then I brought it home and it was thicker than it should have been. So even in the store, I did not recognize this. In the store, the notebook itself has a front cover and a back cover slid into the two edges. Didn't seem like there was anything else in there. But when I was taking out, erasing the price that was written in there, I just felt there was a little bit of a bump. So I did a little bit of digging. And unfortunately, this is me. I inadvertently tore the side of the wallet. So it was not torn when I got it. So, put it in my hands. I'll take care of it. But I had to get the edge of the notebook out from the slot because what was in there was behind that slot. And what I found was super cool. So right off the bat, I found this big letter. Love letters. It's not a love letter. I'm saying I love letters. And so okay, what do we got? Well, it appears to be a part of a schedule. So it's written on letterhead from J.L. Munson, dealer in general merchandise. Did no indication of where this store was located. Oh no, I take that back. This one does. It has Albany, Wisconsin is written right there on the top. And then there's a place for the year that's not been filled in, but you can see it's printed with 1890 something. Well, the wallet was 1897, 1898, so that's not a huge surprise. And you see from the letterhead side, it's printed upside down, and it's also written on the back. Well, what this is showing is the third day of a schedule, the fourth day of a schedule, and then the fifth and sixth day of a schedule. So I only have one page from whatever this letter is. And as you go through the letter itself, so on like just looking at the sixth day, number one, get off and let wheel go and mount it again without the aid of the handlebars. Okay, my day's not nearly that interesting. Number two, riding on the back steps. Number three, riding forward and backwards. What is this? So we have this letter that's talking about this schedule. And again, the first part of it's missing, but all the days have some variation. So the fourth day, standing still. I can do that. So, okay, what is this? Well, all this other stuff came out. So then what comes out is this little illustrated billhead, which I love these things because, I wish my receipt from Target looked this nice. So you've got a tri-panel 1898. You've got this little billhead. It was folded in place, so it's very brittle. I just tore it a little bit. Trying to hold it open. That's the downside of 19th century ephemera. I got to take really good care of them. But it's for the Eureka nebulizer, and the receipt is handwritten to show that it has 6 bottles. But okay, I don't know what this would be. This looks like a chemical thing. To me, a nebulizer is something to do with breathing. But then there's an air compressor. But then you get the bottles. Okay, still really don't know what this all is. And now, to be perfectly honest, I don't remember which items fell out first. I know the big thing, the big letter, I opened first. This then fell out. The man's name is H.S. Record. He was from Aurora, Iowa, and check out his title. He is a professional bicycle rider, and stair riding is a specialty. How cool is that? So this was the wallet of this man who is a professional bicycle rider. And if you think about what he was doing on his days, riding on the back steps, there must have been a step on the back of the bicycle. And so he's riding his bicycle from the back step. Get off and let wheel go and mount it again without the aid of the handlebars. Now, handlebars should have given me some indication that we were dealing with a bicycle, but number 6, the flip, flop, and back again. So, okay, so we're dealing with a bicycle. So we've got his business card. And business cards themselves can be collectible. I haven't had a lot of luck selling them, but I don't really have the right market yet. Then this was also in there. So another document. This was already torn, so I don't feel guilty about this one. But this has his name again at the top. H.S. Record. Now, this is actually Cambridge, Illinois. So his business card says Aurora, Iowa, Cambridge, Illinois. This is Southern Illinois. And it says it's Henry County. In case of an accident, telegraph AM record of this place and receive a liberal reward. So I guess he knew that he was doing dangerous stunts on his bicycle. So he was actually putting in there that you could get a reward if you actually helped give him medical assistance by contacting his family. And then on the back, it's dated July 1st, 1899. So that was in there. And then there was a little clipping. So this was it. Unfortunately, it literally is a clipping. It was clipped from a newspaper. So it's clipped down so far. I actually have no idea where it came from. But it says HS Record, the Aurora Trick Bicycle Rider gives a fine exhibition of skill on the wheel. Starting out with an exhibition of how a farmer learns to ride, Mr. Record performs a large number of marvelous feats of skill, riding the wheel in every possible position, jumps boxes, and does many other seemingly impossible things. And it says Bulletin Journal. So that would have been the newspaper. And on the back, there's a reference to Mount Pleasant, which I do believe is in Southern Illinois. I know there in text, it says something about Iowa. So we're either Mount Pleasant, Iowa, or somewhere in Southern Illinois again. So anyways, there's this little article that talks about him. So he carried this in his wallet. So he had this little newspaper article that he saved. And then this I thought was really telling as well. So this is another letter. I'll try not to tear this one as I try and open it, because all this paper is really brittle. And before you get your panties in a bunch, even the Ephemeral Society has shown that handling with gloves is not necessarily the best practice for brittle paper, because I need to be able to touch it so I can figure out how to open it. If I had gloves on, I'd actually be kind of, you can think about it. When you're wearing gloves, you're kind of clunky. So a lot of people, when I start dealing with older paper, they think, oh, you should be wearing gloves and they've got to have, everything's got to be protected. Look it up. There are official documentations, there are official reports that actually suggest that old paper can still be preferably handled by hand, simply because you have the tactile ability. I did very cleanly wash my hands before I started. So I am opening this as best I can so I do not tear it. Having gloves would actually hinder that process. So what this one is a letter dated May 20th, 1898. This is for Monticello Fair Association. And I believe, again, Monticello is in Southern Illinois. So it says, sirs, if you have not already secured all the attractions for your fair this season, I shall be pleased to offer my services as a trick rider on bicycle, the many performances. I ride down a 15 to 20 foot stairs. Should performances of this routine interest you, I would be pleased to make further arrangements with you respectfully. Now, the bottom of half of it has been torn off. His signature is missing. So for some reason, half of this letter is missing, just like half of that schedule is missing. But the fact that he was writing this to the Fair Association, but then still has it in his possession, did they return it to him? You know, is one of those cases like, why does he still have the letter? Because he'd sent it. So I don't know, maybe he booked the gig and he was keeping it as a memento, because this is from 1898. That other one is from 1899. So he's had this wallet for a while, even though the calendar ended in 1890. What did I say? The calendar ended in 1898. You know, but there were addresses in here. There's other notes that were in here that he probably just held on to it because it was actually a notebook. So that's the just cool stuff with ephemera. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Well, actually, I do know what I'm going to do with this. I will be selling this. I have not put it up for sale yet. Maybe by the time this video goes live, I will have put it up for sale. It's hard to sell things like this because there's no brand name. Like I did look for this guy. He was not like super, super famous. So it's not like people are going to have a saved search for professional bicycler. But, you know, if somebody rides bikes on like for their free time, or if they're a racer or something, anybody that does anything with bikes, how cool is this that you've got a 19th century, you know, set of documents for a professional bike rider? And I mean, even if nothing else, you just frame the business card. How cool is that? You know, if you're really into bicycles, you know, who even would have known you would grow up to be a professional bicycle rider? So anyway, so it's cool stuff like that. So this is something I'd set aside. I'd wanted to do this video and had not had a chance to record it yet. I just did an entire video selling ephemera, and that is what I like to do. I do have a lot of it myself. I'm collecting it. I'm probably collecting far too much of it. Eventually, I'll need to sell it. But for now, it's fun to handle. It's fun to investigate it. It's fun to just learn the stories that are behind it. And the stories attached to this wallet would have never been found had I not just paid attention. So it wasn't just some, you know, inexpensive little wallet just shoved in a box. It was something that they recognized as kind of cool because of the date, but even the seller didn't recognize there was something else in there. So you pay attention. That's how you find the cool stuff. And then my goal is to share the cool stuff with everybody else. So thanks so much for giving me your time. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. And please watch for my next video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye, finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my way.